Hi guys. So I haven't been on YouTube in such a long time, and this is so random because I feel like this is just so abrupt, but I just felt like I needed to come and fulfill my life's purpose, so today I just want to talk about me. I have to take a deep breath because I can't believe it's taken me 28 years to get to this point. So if my voice starts shaking or cracking, y'all don't blame me. I have emotions. I'm just a human being with feelings, y'all. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this video, because I feel like everyone that's in my life they don't know me the way other people may know other people in life. Like, I don't know, I've always been this way, and I feel like people don't know me because I always say I always gatekeep myself. Like, I am the biggest gatekeeper of myself, and I feel like I need to stop saying like things like I think. I didn't know this would be this hard to talk about. Ever since I was young, I always felt like everything that I've been through in life was a learning lesson for me. Because I was very confused when I was younger, the way that I was brought up and the way I was raised, and just everything up until I was 25, that I've always been very confused and I felt very lost in the world. Like, I don't know where to begin. This is so much shit that, like, it's like, where the fuck do I start? So let's just go right back to the beginning then, I guess. So first things first, I'm Olivia, and I am 28, and if you guys know me in life, then you would know, I think the whole world would know, that I was really, 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 really depressed. Like, crazy depressed up until I was like 24 and a little bit, let's say, because by the time 25 came, I really made that switch to just change. And people always ask me, like, I've even had girls DM me asking me, like, how did I like deal with my like depression, and I never talk about it because I still feel like it was such a sensitive topic for me that I could never talk about it. But then I always felt like I could never fulfill my life's purpose if I don't use the bad that happened to me to talk about it, so that other people don't go through the same things feeling the way I felt. Because so ever since I was young, I've always been, and I'm not saying this to like gas myself up, but you know, toot toot. But I've always been really, really smart. I've always been like a stupidly smart person, to the point where I feel like my smartness confuses me, right? Because ever since I was young, like, my brain was never really wired the way other kids' brains were wired. So I hate this type of shit. But when bad things happened to me, I always knew it wasn't because I was a bad person. Do you know what I mean? At a young age, I knew that these bad things wasn't happening to me because I was a bad person. These things were happening to me because these people were bad people, right? And I feel like trauma makes everyone respond to things in different ways. And when I was younger, it made me, like, I was very like a bubbly kid. So I was very bubbly, very energetic, very out there, very outspoken, very curious. I want to know everything about everything. I was such a why kid. Why? I was one of those. And as I started to get older and older and older, there was things that I was lacking. But obviously I wouldn't know this because I'm a fucking child. But there was things that I was lacking that, like, other people were doing normally, right? And this has gone through with me to my older life. And I'm just like, ugh, I hold so much things inside, and I always keep like this tough act up, which I am a tough person. Like, I'm not easy to cry and stuff like that, but I think everything that I've been through has made me that way. And like, I don't tell anybody bad things that's happened to me before, right? And when I was depressed, it was a family thing. And it wasn't because like I had never had the experiences of like getting bullied in school to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't go into school. Like I had never been bullied in school. I had never been ostracized from people my age group or anything like that. But yeah, it was more of a family thing. So like I was never insecure about my looks. I didn't know that being insecure about your looks was even a thing because I'd never felt that way. But then when I was like a teenager, um, my family would always bitches do it like, look, I cannot do that look down shit to not cry. So if my makeup fucks up, you guys gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to get our words out, girl. We gonna have to speak. I didn't think I'd cry, but I think because I haven't spoken about it in this way before, it's kind of hitting me hard. She's nearly 30, y'all. She's crying over some dumb shit. I never cry. This is my projection because I always say, ugh, people that cry on the internet, but like here I fucking am. Growing up, I was never insecure about my looks. Ever. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that people hated themselves. I didn't know people hated their bodies. Normally you would go through that when you're like a teenager on your own, whatever. I don't fucking know how you go through it. But no one would ever say anything to me at school or anything, but at home it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. This is why I don't talk about my feelings, because my fucking airways just close up and I've got no choice but to cry. God, what are you doing to me right now, bro? Please. I remember being like 11, 12, 13. I think those are the most pivotal moments, I think, that I remember. That they would always just talk about my nose. I used to be so fucking confused, bitch. I used to be sitting in the mirror like, what's wrong with my nose? Like, I'm black. I think everybody knows that black people have like broader noses. Like, I'm so confused. Like, why does everyone like always come up for my nose? But like in school and stuff, like no one ever talks about my nose. So I thought that's confusing. Then they would always talk about my weight, like all the time. I'd always be called fat. And I remember because I went to Gambia and my deadbeat daddy decided to be a dad for one time, and he brought me all these clothes and I tried it on and it was like a size like 6 and it was so loose on me, right? But I had been living in Gambia for a hot minute now. They're still calling me fat, by the way. Still calling me fat, big nose, whatever. Fat. I never deeped it, I never cried about it. I just used to always think like, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? And every time like I would play with like other like children my age because I was so much more like taller, so much bigger than them. Like I feel like my whole body like demeanor is just quite big. So even when I was that skinny, I still seemed bigger than other kids because I was so much more taller and stuff like that. And they would always like try and ostracize me all the time. And still through all that, I would just brush it off and not really care because I'm like, ugh, family. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one outside does this shit, but like, family. I didn't think this shit would affect me. But bitch, now I'm 28 and I'm over here crying about it. Anyways, all of my insecurities or anything like that came from family first. Always family. It was never anyone else. It was family. So, being in school, like being in primary school, I remember being in primary school and being, oh sorry, I completely cut off the whole dad thing, but my dad decided to be a dad one time and I tried on this outfit and it was a size 6 and I remember it being so loose and baggy on me and I remember being so shocked because I was like, a size 6? Like in the UK, they like everyone would think I was so skinny. Like what the hell? But in Gambia, maybe because they're naturally skinny, maybe like, do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm just making the kids say it. Like, I was just very confused. But I remember being that skinny, and when I came back, everyone was like, "Whoa, you done lost some weight." But I was like, this was a concept to me because I was like, no one's ever said I've lost weight. Like no one's ever like I've always still been called fat. Like this is insane. So it was very confusing to me. And I remember being a kid, and I decided like when I came back from Gambia, I was like, why should I care about my weight when I went all the way down to size 6 and people still saw me as fat? bitch, eat what you fucking want. So that's when I just started to take the self-destruct. I hit that self-destruct button, and I just like binge eating. To this day, that's why I think like I can't even let that shit go. I can't even lie. I'm probably gonna have to work on that. But binge eating is not a motherfucking thing. I love it. I'll starve myself for so long, and then I'll eat, and then it's a cycle. You know, it's a cycle. We all got our thing now. Don't look at me too fucking hard. But yeah, so I've always been like really depressed. I remember being like in primary school, and I'd go to school sometimes, and I'd be like, bruh, I'm so sad today for no reason. Like I would go to school and I'd be like, I don't want to be friends with my friends. I don't want to play. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to sit down and be by myself because I, me and my little, and I remember I would go to school and if one of the girls would come up to me and be like, "What's wrong? Like, why do you not want to come and play?" I don't think I made this video. I think it's hitting me that I'm saying this out loud for like the first time. But yeah, the girl asked me like, "Why do you not want to play?" And I'd always say like, "I just feel like everyone hates me. Like, I feel like a burden, and I'm a kid. So I'm like 8 years old, 8, 9, feeling like the biggest burden in the world, like ever. Like, what? Oh God." God, I have to let you know right now. Crying hurts. It really hurts. So I don't want to, like, yeah. I just want to talk about my feelings, please. This is not even my feelings. This is just what I went through. Anyways, so I would always feel like I was just such a burden. Like, ugh, I would just come in and I'd be like, yo, I feel like my mom hates me. I feel like everyone hates me. I feel like my grandma hates me. I feel like my sisters hate me. I feel like everyone hates me. Like, and I don't have no evidence or anything to back this up. I just feel it. Sorry, y'all. I inflate the chairs going buck wild. But ever since I was young, like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like an empath. Like I don't really look at like into stuff like that too much because I'm just like, bitch. All I know is me. Like an empath really feels what other people feel, and I can put myself in other people's shoes. But sometimes I really don't give a fuck about your situation to feel like I'm an empath. But like ever since I was young, I've always felt like very like spiritual, and I've always felt like a little bit like different. But I always kind of blamed it all on my trauma. But I'm like, girl, the trauma didn't even kick in yet. But yeah, like I felt like as a kid, I could do no right. I could, like I was just a burden. I was. But yeah, I started to feel more lonely in family life when I jumped from primary school to high school because primary school to high school no one was really involved in me going from primary school to high school. Like I picked the high school that I wanted to go to. It was close to the house. My friends were all going there. Like, do you know what I mean? I remember taking myself on the open day. You know when you start saying shit, it don't sound normal, but we keep going. I took myself to the open day. I took myself to the first day. Like I remember walking to the first day of school. The first day of fucking school, I remember walking with my friends. So it didn't seem that bad, but I remember walking with my friends. I just don't think that's right for any of us. None of us should have went to school our first day by ourselves. I remember going to school, and school was something that, like, I don't know. I just felt like I dealt with that shit alone. Like, I washed my own uniform. And I would put it's funny, but like you know it's just funny, but you want to laugh and cry at the same time because it's really not funny, but it's kind of funny. I remember I would put my whole uniform inside the washing machine. I'm talking the whites with the black trousers and my shirt would be like grey. And I would go to school like that. Like no one was checking me in the morning how I looked. And I went to high school for 5 years, by the way, guys. Well, okay, well, in the UK, 4 years. Let's say from like year 7. Then I did do year 8 here, and then came back in year 9. But I was like, no one checked how I went to school in the morning. No one made sure I had breakfast in the morning. Like, nothing. I'm like 11, 12. I go to Gambia in this time, and in Gambia, I hated it. I hate it. I think, like, I got dropped off in Gambia. Like no one told me I would stay there for like a long period of time. I went to Gambia. I thought I was gonna go for 2 weeks. I ended up going for like 6 months, and I went to school there and everything. And it was so different for me because you need to understand. I'm I'm a British kid through and through. Like I was raised by my like grandma, and she's like very Gambian, but and she taught me like the language and we ate the food and stuff like that. But in terms of socializing with Gambian kids that lived in Gambia, it was really difficult for me to try and fit in. Like it was a weird time. Like I had fun at sometimes, but for the most part, I just remember wishing to. I remember just being in Gambia and just wanting to go home, and the worst experience of my whole entire life, the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, happened in Gambia. So I hated it there, and someone that should have protected me that time did not protect me. Bitch. This is what I don't like about sometimes the books that come through the motherfucking window, pissing me the fuck off. But yeah, someone who should have protected me at that time did not do so. So, you know, as a kid, I was just like, maybe they didn't know. I made so many excuses for them, and then I grew up and I was like, nah, I wouldn't do that shit, bro. I wouldn't do it. So, growing up, it was just, I just felt so alone. Like, I have 5 siblings, but it was like the 2 oldest ones, and like there's a 5 year gap between me and like the one that's older than me, and then a 5 year gap between me and the one that's younger than me. So I went through like the way they went to like high school and had like a sibling at high school. I never had that. Like I never had a sibling at school with me, and so I was just like with my friends, and then I remember getting like really close with my friends, and I was like, how do I feel closer to my friends and my family, and my friends don't even know shit about me because I don't share shit. Like if you guys really know me, you guys know that I'm just for the kikis. Like I'm the balanced friend, I'm the balanced and the advice friend. I'm not telling you guys what's going on in my life. So where was I up to? I went to Gambia, had the worst experience of my life, traumatic, and then I came back here. Okay, I came back to the UK, and now I'm going to school. Still, it's the same thing. Like I'm taking myself to school, I'm washing my own uniform, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm rushing back from school because I've got to look after my siblings. So my whole teen years, I was just like my high school years for sure, and college years was just spent baby fucking sitting. That's why when people talk to me about having a child, I'm like, bruh, do not piss me off. I already done that shit already, you know. So yeah, so school, I'm going to school sometimes. I'm not eating food because I ain't got no money for food. Um, my hygiene's probably not the best. I look a mess, and no one did anything to change the situation. We moved. Um, when I was a teenager, I think I was just a teenager, so I didn't want to be around my younger sisters. I would want to be around my older sisters, but everything I did was so weird to them, and they would literally just come for me about everything. Bro, I remember I wanted blue hair for my prom, and they would just sit there like, I don't know who would want blue hair. That's so unheard of. Like, guys, bearing in mind I'm 28, so when I was in like high school, like my prom was like must have been like 2012 or 2011. So obviously, a black girl with blue hair at the time was probably fucking unheard of. The only girls that were doing it back then was probably the OMG girls, and yeah, so I did blue hair for college for my prom, and they would always come for me. I remember on my prom, I got fucking yelled at because I wanted to get ready with my friends instead of getting ready with my family. But I'm trying to figure out how to gather my thoughts because I'm sometimes a little bit like I feel like my brain runs at 100 miles per hour. I get overwhelmed and I just don't do anything. Like I'm like, oh, child, overwhelmed. But yeah, so in college. Yeah, like in college, it started like to get a little bit. I remember I got kicked out of the house because I woke up late for a dentist appointment that I didn't know that I was supposed to have that day. I didn't know I was gonna go to the dentist. Like, this is the first time I'm ever going to the dentist, like one of the first times in my teen years. going to the dentist. So like, how would I, like, hello? So I remember getting kicked out that day, and I went to my friend's house. But back then, like as a kid, I was just like, oh yes, freedom! Like a bitch can leave and go chill with my friends. So I went and chill with my friends, slept over and everything, and then the next day I went to my sister's house and I came home, and I just felt like my whole growing up, like from a kid era, like growing up, like it's taken me now to realize like I ain't never had no figure in my life that I felt like, what a boss bitch. Like, I want to be like her. Like, I want to, like, there was no women in my life that made me feel like I wanted to do better for myself because they was doing better for themselves. I always felt like, oh, I don't want to be like this when I'm older. Oh, I don't want to be like that when I'm older. I don't want to do this when I'm older. I don't want to be a horrible person. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like that. And when I was younger, I didn't have a good, like, the best relationship with like my younger sisters because I was raised in a house where you're an adult. Like, if you're older than someone, you are older than someone, and you don't intermingle with people that are younger than you. So even when I would joke around with like my younger siblings, it was like, what are you doing? Like, grow up type of shit. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, but these are my sisters. Like, what? So I would always just kind of just be by myself, even though I lived in a house filled with people. I would always just be by myself. I wouldn't go out. I would babysit. I would headphones in, music. If you guys know me, you guys know I love music. I listen to all types of music. I listen to so many music. I can talk to about music all day, every day. And that's because all I had growing up was music. One thing about me, I'm gonna have a pair of headphones on me, or I'm gonna go watch music on the TV because music was just so fun to me. Like it just satisfied like a little part of my brain where I'm like, oof, like. But yeah, I feel like I overly consumed music and I overly consumed food because it felt like a little piece of satisfaction and happiness in something, okay? And clearly I wasn't getting it at home. Um, then college comes, yeah, I've got my college friends, I'm chilling with my friends, and there's always this disconnect all the time. Like, I fell out with my friends for my own personal reasons, but there was also like little moments where I'm like, shit, I have to go sit up with these girls, and like I'm being kicked out of the house. So now I have to come and kiki with my friends and make sure that they don't find this shit out. They always found out, by the way. And I remember one time when I was in college, so from college to university now, in uni, like not in uni, but like when I was moving to like going to uni, I remember in college, I tried so hard with these teachers for them to help me get into uni because I knew that if it had to be a family thing, I'm not going. So I tried really hard. When I was in college, I would apply to so much universities. Everybody knows I love to do, I love fashion down. I wanted to do fashion in college, but that was not an option for me. I had to do business was the only option I could do. I wanted to do drama, but once someone found out I was doing drama, they made sure that I did business. Whew. Anyways, so yeah, so I wanted to do fashion in uni, but obviously fashion is so fucking competitive. And everywhere I applied, they rejected me. In Manchester, they rejected me. But out of Manchester, they had accepted me. But when I asked my sisters, my older sisters, I ain't driving you down there. Are you crazy? Like, what the hell? No, are you gonna pay for my petrol? Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna? I'm like, oh, okay, like true say, true say. But now that I'm a big sister to my little sisters, I would never do that shit. I would drop them off wherever if it was something that serious. Hello? I stopped talking ages ago so you could go around and use because I could hear you. Thank you. Ricky, why am I over here crying all over this video?
No,
Is my makeup fucked up?
like in the corner there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of them ones where you just have to do it.
Not me about to be crying on the internet like some pussy hole. The way my sisters came and I stopped crying so motherfucking quick. Siblings will really quick their tears. Like, there's something about being emotional in front of your siblings that you're like, But yeah, and like with everything that I went through, I don't know where I was by the way. Everything that I went through, being a teenager, I I don't want to say I'm psychic or anything, but I low key do think I can predict the future because a lot of the things I say always come true, always come fucking true. If I say something about someone, even if I've just met them today, I'm right. It it always comes true. And ever since I was young, like I would say, like come back from Gambia, so I must have been like 13, 14. I always knew for a fact two things. One, I am never gonna have a peaceful escape from my childhood home, right? Like I'm not gonna move on. It's gonna be all like beautiful and congratulations. Like I knew it was gonna be horrid every time I moved out. Horrible. The second thing was I was gonna have to be the one to really break this generational curse. Every once in a couple of like months or so, like a year gone by, I'll just be like, fuck God, fuck, fuck, why? Like, why did it have to be me? But there was no motherfucking way I was gonna come into this life and have a baby at a young age and just keep the generational bullshit going on. It was never gonna be me. So I was like, ugh, okay, then I guess I'm gonna have to be the one to do it because I'm not sitting here like bitch. Mm-mm. And I always knew I was really, really different from like my older siblings because I was like, bro, like I can't explain it. It sounds dumb, but like everybody knows I like to keep myself to myself. Like if people would meet me for the first time and be like, "Oh hi, like who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, Olivia, like I'm her sister," and they'd be like, "Hmm, like, like where did you come from?" And I'm like, because I always just kept myself to myself, and like people would always be like, "I know this sister and this sister and this sister, but I don't know you," and I'm like, "Oh, because I'm just the quiet one that just stays on the fucking way because I ain't got time for this shit. Like I don't want to be associated with whatever these people have got going on. And like I have been judged so many times from people that had known my family. I don't know what I was up to, but just all I can say is growing up, I never had like other people will have someone that they look up to and be like, oh, I really want to be like this person. But there was no one around me that had done well for themselves to the point where I was like, bad bitch, want to be like you. I never felt like that. I always felt like I just was looking at people as like you have been put in my life as an example of what not to do. Do you know what I mean? Of what not to do. And everything like when I started to get older, like so when I was 25, I'll talk about how I got over depression. So stay with me now. I have been depressed since I was what? Yeah. So and it amplified when so this is when I hit like depression. So my grandmother passed away in 2014. 2014, I was in college. It was my last year of college, and my grandma had passed away. She was very, very ill. Before she passed away, she was very ill. So I'm going to college. Bearing in mind, I'm by myself. Again, I'm by myself. I'm going to college. I'm coming home, and my grandma is really ill. So I go to college, and I'm trying to talk about it, but I'm known as the friend that's just see, you're so unserious. Like a bitch always wanna laugh. Ugh. A bitch always wanna laugh. A bitch always wanna joke. So now when it comes to something that's like, ugh, this shit is affecting me even at college. Like I'm turning up late. I'm not going to my lessons. I don't give a fuck. Like my grandma could die. That's all I could think like thinking about. And I was by myself. Cool. I'm gonna try and zip through this, otherwise I'm never gonna talk about this. So obviously my grandma passed away. And I want you guys to know that the day that my grandma passed away, first of all, I was feeling jolly. I was dancing. I was listening to my music. Like every time someone is not in the house, I'm blasting music to the full capacity. I know the neighbors hated me. So I was blasting my music. And I get a call basically telling me that my grandma's passed away. I'm alone again. And I'm dealing with all of this shit, like dealing with all this shit on my own. This is how I've become who I am today. So just bear with me, yeah? Follow along. I'm alone. I found out that my grandma who raised me ever since I was young, all the way up until I left Gambia. And and when I came back from Gambia, I always talk to her. Are you okay? You feeling better, grandma? Like, da-da-da. Yeah, I'm coming to England. Like, I'll be on a flight soon. You know how I do. I'm like, I do know how you do because you do be in and out of England. So I really thought this is going to be one of those situations again. But then unfortunately, she passed away. So when she passed away, this was the first hard hitting death I'd ever experienced in my whole entire life. My granddad had passed away, but I didn't know him that well. Like, I did know him, but I didn't know him that well. Like, we didn't. I cried, but it was like my grandma though was a bit hard hitting. I'm alone. I'm sat down, taking in this information that my grandma has just passed away. I'm crying. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this don't make sense. Like, God, why? The typical grieving things on the motherfucking door. I'm like, ugh, who's at the door? Like, I can hear my auntie's already talking. I'm like, I can't stand this auntie already. What does she want? I open the door and it's like two of my aunties, I think three of them, three of my aunties. And they're looking at me and this bitch has the nerve to go, not only crying. She goes, so you've heard the news already? And then they just left. They were like, oh, we just came here to tell you that your grandma died. And they left. I was so thankful in that moment that I dealt with that before they even came. I'm so glad that I heard that my grandma passed away before those ladies came and broke it to me because to this day, that would have been a slap in the face. It would have been a fucking slap in the face. So they go, I'm by myself. I'm dealing whatever. I think my sister came. Is really unclear to me. But the next day, they all came, like everyone came to the house, cooking, stuff like this. And this other auntie that I, oof, the aunties, I'm gonna do a whole different episode on them. But this auntie tried to send me to the shop while I am grieving my grandma. I look at this lady and I go, I'm not going to the shop. She tries to yell at me. So we're now having like a little bit of a bicker and I go into my room because I'm not going to the fucking shop. My grandma has just fucking died, you bitch. Ugh. So, anyways, I'm in my room. The only person that I can say, like, there was two people that came to visit me that were like, ugh, loved, loved. And that was my cousin and my friend at the time. My friend, when she came in, she was doing the whole, you all right? And one thing about me is I don't like when people baby me or, you okay? Or feel sorry for me or look at me in a way where it's like, mm. I'm like, bro, fuck you. Like, don't ever look at me like that because everyone's had their down days, everyone's had their shit. Don't you dare. So my cousin, she was lit. I remember trying to tell her in college. I told her, but I didn't want to burden her with my shit. Do you know what I mean? So I just left it. And then this starts the crumbling of the friendship group. This starts the crumbling of going out in public. Me and my friends start work. I started working when I was 15 years old. 15. And I would work over the Christmas period as a waitress and then like in the summer holidays and like in the holidays and then I'll go to school and stuff and then it was college, same thing again because I started working like towards I think the end of like high school, but then I remember in the beginning I would open my sister's shop. Like I had been doing shit since I was 15. I had been working around since I was 15. I've been working around since I was 15. And when I started, like me and all my friends had the same job. We was all waitresses at the same place, and I would get my paychecks. And even then, like the divide was so loud. I would have to give my pay like in my culture, you have to give your parents your paycheck, half your paycheck, because it's blessings and it's this and it's that. And I just did what everybody told me to do. So I was just like, well, what do I fucking know? I'm a kid. I'm looking for guidance. Not getting the right one, but I'm looking for guidance. And say, for example, we all get paid £100, I would only have 40 because I've already given 60 away because of cultural reasons. So then over time, we're getting older now. We're getting older. We're 17, we're 18. We're trying on clothes, you know. I'm binge eating still. I'm still babysitting, and I'm not the type to go out with my friends. If I wanted to go out, I would have to beg, beg, beg that to the point. I don't know what it is about me. I've got so much pride, I've got so much ego that I'm a bitch. I'd rather not go because I'm not about to sit here and be begging now to go out for a little birthday party or a little club. Like, I'm just not gonna go. So I would always just stay at home all the time while my friends were going out. This started to drift and we started to get into different interests. So you need to, again, stay with me. I'm at home all the time. I'm listening to music all the time. I'm watching Bob's Burgers all the time. And I'm just focused on me all the time. Like I got nothing else to do but be at home and be focused on me. I'm being kicked out every other day. I'm being rated every other day. I'm just going through it. So hey, so I want you to imagine my life at home and how vastly different it is from the other teenagers that are in my year in college or now that we're even done with college. College, no one's helped me into uni, no one gives a fuck. Like it's literally just me. And again, at this time, my mom in Gambia because she was ill because my grandma was ill. So now I've got no uni. I might as well just get a job home because I tried. I really tried. The only uni that accepted me was out of Manchester, and I have no way of getting there. Like I've never been anywhere by myself like that. I've never booked a train ticket. I've never booked a coach ticket. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. When I get there, like this was before Uber and that. When I get there, what, I'm a fucking kid. What the fuck am I like? What am I gonna do? So I just gave up on that completely, and I was just like, okay, you know, what, I'm just gonna work because that's already know what like that's I already know how to work. I'm just gonna fix up my TV, use all the experience, and I'm gonna work. But I kept on with the waitressing, but I had to quit that because the manager was on, and then they were just unprofessional, and you're not paying my money on time. Why do I have to call you to get my money? Like, mm. So I got me a new job, and I would just work. I would just work. I'm talking work. Like now I'm 19. I'm in. I'm kicked out of the house. By the way, I'm staying completely somewhere completely different. Just as traumatizing, but I'm staying somewhere completely different. And I'm working, and I'm working for for, for full time, not just full time, for full time. I'm doing 6 or 7 days a week because again, I'm like this people pleasing ass pussy asshole, and I'm over here taking shifts from people, like, because people are like, can you please do my shift? And I don't want to say no, so I'm just like, okay, okay, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anyone to be mad or be like, "Fuck this bitch." You know, I felt like everything was always my fault, and I'm like, every time I go home, I'm getting yelled at for having for having a full time job because now I can't look after my nephew. Why have the kid if you can't look after the kid? Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Yeah, so I'm getting yelled at because I've got a full time job and I'm really confused. I'm like, you guys wanted me to get a job because apparently sitting at home all day was not was not it for you guys. I got a job and now I'm working too much. So again, I'm in this state of limbo and state of confusion. I keep working my job until I don't work it anymore. But the thing about me is I'm not quitting a job until I have another job lined up. That's how I operate. So I'm like, I just need change of scenery. Like, I cannot be around these people anymore because you guys are just driving me insane, demanding too much from me. So, new job, new job, new job. I was going through jobs every other like couple of months. I think like 2 months, a month, 2 months, a month, 3 months, 6 months. New job, new job, new job. Um, During all these times that I'm working, by the way, I have worked in so many different places. I've worked at Tesco, I've worked at Smiggle, I've worked at Debenhams, I've worked at Nulo, I've worked at I've worked as a waitress. I've worked in a diner. I've worked with my ex best friend's auntie doing weddings, like venues and stuff like that. So I've been working. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so in the midst of me working this whole time, I'm always home alone. Okay, so follow me here because I'm always alone and I'm getting my paycheck. There's no one there to tell me, Olivia, save up your money, and this is how you get your first apartment, and this is what taxes are, and this is what council tax is, and this is what this is, and this is what that is, and you have to pay for gas, you have to pay for electric, you have to pay for water even, because I thought that bitch was free. You got to pay for TV license. No one told me all of this. All of this that I'm telling you guys right now, I'm telling you, I've heard it because I've heard it from other people. I've Googled it. I've just heard it from different places. I've never heard it from an adult that sat me down and spoke to me, right? Okay, so I'm in the house, I'm by myself, I'm buying my own food, I'm buying my own clothes, I'm paying for gas, I'm paying for electric when it goes off, because when I'm trying to message the older people in my life, they don't want to hear it. And I'm not about to sit in a house with no Wi-Fi, even though it's been done. There was numerous times where, you know, like I remember one time I was in this house and I was paying for electric every 2 days, like every 2 days until my paycheck would run the fuck out. And I would have to sit in a completely dark, empty room until the morning comes, or until 2 more days because then I get paid, so it's fine. Or at least I've eaten, or my laptop's actually charged, so I'll just use my laptop, I'll hotspot it on my phone, and I'll use my laptop throughout the night. It's cool. So never complain, never complain, never told anyone this, by the way. Everything I'm telling you guys right now, I've just been keeping it to my fucking self because I don't want to complain. But bitches wanna keep testing me. Okay, so I'm not saving money. I don't know the importance of finances. I'm not saving money. I'm ordering food because I can't cook. I'm working every day. I'm paying for my transport to and from work. And I'm like, just by myself. And then the depression is just still, I'm still on the depressed vibe. I've got a friend, like my best friend at the time. We're both enablers. It hit me one day that we're both trauma bonding hard. So I I end up cutting it off with her, which I'll explain probably another time. But we're trauma bonded hard, so even if she comes over for like to support me, so we can just be together, we're still eating food, we're still watching TV, we're still lying down, we're not going out, we're not doing shit with our lives. And then now it comes to when I'm 25. I am fed the fuck up of being depressed, bitch. I want to live my life like a normal person. What's wrong with me? And then again, there's no. I'm living in this house, like in our family home, with just my sisters. I'm working all the time and I'm trying to figure out like how can I be happier? I hate my weight, so let's go to the gym. Why am I all the way down here? I hate my weight, so let's go to the gym. I started fixing it because I seen a picture that I'm gonna insert here, and that picture changed my whole mindset because I was telling someone, I was like, I'm still childish, but I'm still so grown at the same time. Like it's really confusing to me when to be childish and when to be grown, and all these feelings inside of me is just so confusing. So sometimes I have to see things in dummy form to really process it in my brain, and seeing this picture made everything really just fall in line. And I was like, I have to do 10% every day to change my life in the future. So I started going to the gym bit by bit by bit. Even if I just walk to the gym and walk home, that was a win to me because at least I walked to the gym and walked home because I was about to lie the fuck down. I started changing the way I ate. I would experiment with cooking. That's why I got so good at cooking. Um, like I just did everything for myself from day one, and then I'm still the villain in everyone's story. Like it's still always me. I'm always blamed for brainwashing my younger sisters. This and how much can one girl take? Bitch, I am tired. So now I'm just like I went through everything I went through because it is a lesson for me to become a better person than any of these adults have ever been in my fucking life. They've all went to one point and just stopped. They think like they just stopped. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take all of this and I'm gonna better myself. And when I better myself, it'll be perfect because offing myself is not an option because I have younger siblings. Offing myself is not an option because I have nephews. Okay. Had they not been here, bye. But I'm like, I have to do better so that I can help other people and make people realize it does get better. As it was getting better, the person that went away came. Life is on pause. I'm not feeling good anymore. I'm realizing that a lot of things was actually trauma in the year that this person had left. I realized a lot of these things that I've been through was trauma and abuse and not right. So I don't feel safe around this person anymore. I can't take shouting. You shout at me, I'm walking away because I'm gonna fuck you up if you keep on shouting at me. I leave the family home. I just pack all my shit and I leave because I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. The person cries, come home. I just want everyone to be together. Blah blah, fucking blah. Me being me, I don't want to take up space in like other people's homes. I went to Hattie's house. You guys know Hattie's my ride or die. So I went to Hattie's house and I'm like, I was there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I was like, you know what? And I was going to the gym and everything because I was like, I can't let the way other people make me feel or the way other people feel affect my life. So I was still going to the gym, still doing what I had to do, still trying to figure out new plans, still trying to figure out what to do. I'm trying to get my life moving now. This person brings me back to the house. And I've got no choice because I was raised in a place where you don't go outside looking for help. You just look within it with your family. Like I tried to go to therapy one time and I got cussed the fuck out because that is not something that you discuss with other people. You discuss your traumas with your family. But what happens when the talk isn't cheap and the trauma is from the family? Who do you talk to then?